Welcome to Global Reports Hub. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. August 28, 2025. The world wakes up to a day that will be remembered in economic history. As the clock ticks in newsrooms across the globe, a sense of anticipation fills the air, hinting at the seismic shifts about to unfold. News tickers flash across every major network. Trump declares America first, trade war 2.0. The announcement is bold, unmistakable, and instantly grabs the world's attention. Urgent graphics and breaking news banners dominate the screens, signaling the start of a new era of economic confrontation. Almost immediately, another headline scrolls by. Global markets plunge amid U.S. tariff fears. Financial news anchors scramble to interpret the chaos, their voices tense as they report on the sudden market crash that ripples through every continent. In financial districts from London to Tokyo, traders stare in disbelief as red arrows dominate the charts. The numbers tumble, and the mood on trading floors shifts from routine to crisis. The world's financial heartbeat skips, then races. The world's intricate web of trade agreements, painstakingly built over decades, is suddenly on the brink of chaos. Shipping routes once bustling with activity now flash warning signs as uncertainty clouds the future of global commerce. President Trump, standing before a sea of American flags, rallies crowds with fiery promises to protect American industry. Meanwhile, out at sea, container ships loaded with billions in goods sit idle, caught in the crossfire of new tariffs and trade restrictions. News reports capture the human side of the crisis. Anxious Asian factory owners glued to their televisions, U.S. farmers scanning the horizon with worry etched on their faces, and everyday shoppers bracing for price hikes as uncertainty seeps into daily life. This isn't just politics, it's an economic earthquake shaking every corner of the globe. City streets feel the tremors, and global stock exchanges pulse with urgent news as the world tries to make sense of the unfolding drama. In New Delhi, the response is swift. Government officials and business leaders huddle in urgent meetings, faces illuminated by data-filled screens. The stakes are high, and every decision could shape the nation's future. The news from Washington hits hard, but India's response is marked by calm determination, not panic. Officials review documents, analyze scenarios, and a composed spokesperson assures the press that India is ready to face the challenge head-on. The conversation quickly shifts from crisis to opportunity. Around boardroom tables, business leaders and policymakers ask, how can India turn this global disruption into a chance for growth? What new strategies can be forged in the heat of uncertainty? The threat isn't just targeted tariffs, it's a sweeping attack on the very foundation of global trade. Every container, every shipment, every agreement is now under scrutiny, as nations scramble to protect their interests. The world holds its breath. Will this spark a global recession, or will it force new alliances and rewrite the rules of international commerce? Leaders gather at tense summits, and ordinary people watch stock tickers with hope and fear. For India, the answer to these questions will define its economic future. As the sun rises over Mumbai's financial district, a sense of cautious optimism emerges. The nation stands at a crossroads, ready to navigate the storm and seize new opportunities on the world stage. In a move that caught the world off guard, the White House suddenly announces a sweeping 50% tariff on major Indian exports, a fiscal cannonball aimed directly at the heart of India's export-driven economy. The announcement sends shockwaves through global markets, with immediate and far-reaching consequences for both nations. The Trump administration frames this bold step as a way to correct long-standing trade imbalances and to bring manufacturing jobs back to American soil. The message is clear: America first and American workers first. Factories across the U.S. are abuzz with hope, as leaders promise a revival of domestic industries that have struggled to compete with cheaper imports. But for India, the impact is immediate and severe. The tariff lands like a thunderbolt, threatening the country's economic stability and shaking investor confidence. Vital sectors that rely on exports to the U.S. are suddenly thrown into turmoil, with ripple effects spreading across the entire economy. Textiles, apparel, gems, jewelry, pharmaceuticals, and auto parts, industries that have long been the pride of Indian exports, are now all suddenly far pricier for American buyers. The competitive edge that took decades to build is wiped out overnight, leaving exporters scrambling to adapt. In Tirupur's textile mills and Surat's diamond workshops, anxiety spreads like wildfire. Cancelled orders pile up, job losses become a grim reality, and uncertainty looms over thousands of families who depend on these industries for their livelihoods. The tariff is blunt and indiscriminate, making no distinction between large corporations and small businesses. It threatens decades of hard-won progress, putting at risk not just profits but the very survival of entire communities. This isn't just about numbers on a balance sheet. It's about millions of livelihoods suddenly at risk. Families, small business owners, and workers across India now face an uncertain future, unsure of how to weather this economic storm. By bypassing global trade norms and institutions like the WTO, The Trump administration signals that the old rules of international commerce no longer apply. The world is watching, and the message is unmistakable. Trade wars are back on the table. For Indian exporters, the U.S. market was once a pillar of growth and stability. Now that over-reliance is exposed as a major vulnerability, forcing businesses to rethink their entire strategy. The tariff tsunami has arrived, crashing against India's economic shores. The nation faces a stark choice: be swept away by the shock, or rise to the challenge and build a stronger, more resilient future. The shock forces a reckoning. Diversification is no longer optional. For India, this is a wake-up call to innovate, adapt, and seek new markets, ensuring that the next wave of global disruption finds the country ready and unbreakable. India's response is calm and strategic. No knee-jerk retaliation, no fiery rhetoric. The government reassures industries and partners. India won't be drawn into a destructive trade war. Retaliatory tariffs might feel satisfying, but would only hurt Indian consumers and businesses. Instead, the focus shifts inward, reduce dependence on the U.S., and turn crisis into opportunity. Closed-door meetings unite ministers, bureaucrats, and industry leaders around a new plan. The message: don't panic, plan. Exporters are assured of government support, not just for survival but for a new future. The strategy: diversify exports, build resilience, and avoid putting all eggs in one basket. The U.S. tariff is a wake-up call. India's calm is the first step in rebuilding stronger. The goal: ensure no single country can ever hold India's economy hostage again. This is the birth of a forward-looking, proactive export strategy. Crisis becomes catalyst for transformation. Out of crisis, a bold initiative emerges: Mission 40. In the face of sudden global trade disruptions, India is not just reacting but proactively shaping its future. This is more than a response, it's a strategic leap forward. The plan? Target 40 alternative markets to absorb goods once bound for the U.S. By diversifying export destinations, India aims to reduce its dependence on any single country and build a more robust, shock-resistant economy. This isn't just a slogan, it's a data-driven blueprint for resilience. Every decision is backed by rigorous analysis, with experts poring over numbers to identify the best opportunities for Indian products. The Commerce Ministry, export councils, and analysts identify markets by size, growth, and trade potential. They're mapping out where Indian goods can thrive, considering everything from consumer trends to regulatory environments. Latin America, ASEAN, and Africa rise as key targets, places where Indian goods can compete and trade barriers are low. These regions are hungry for new products, and their economies are growing fast, making them ideal partners for India's export ambitions. The approach: understand each market's needs, not just redirect products. Indian exporters are investing time to learn about local preferences, regulations, and consumer habits, ensuring their offerings are tailored for success. For example, affordable pharmaceuticals for Africa, where access to quality medicine is a top priority, and Indian expertise can make a real difference. Quality apparel for South America, designed to match local tastes and climate, helping Indian brands stand out in crowded markets. Mission 40 is a matchmaking exercise, aligning India's strengths with global demand. It's about building lasting relationships, not just making quick sales. It's a shift from "we make you buy" to "what do you need, we'll make it." This customer-first mindset is at the heart of Mission 40's strategy. The message: the U.S. is important but not the only market. India is opening new doors, forging new partnerships, and ensuring its growth story continues no matter what. Government, diplomats, and industry unite for urgent, coordinated action. This is a national effort, with every stakeholder playing a crucial role in driving exports forward. The U.S. tariff is the spark. Mission 40 is the long-term vision. By turning challenge into opportunity, India is charting a new course for global trade leadership. Mission 40 transforms India's embassies into frontline export engines. Diplomats shift from formal receptions to active business development. Ambassadors and attachés are now salespeople for Made in India, measured by export growth. They build relationships with importers, retailers, and industry groups in host countries. Embassies receive real-time data and product info, connecting directly with Indian exporters. An ambassador in Brazil, for example, links Indian pharma firms with local distributors. The government retrains diplomats, fostering a commercial mindset. Every embassy becomes a trade promotion office armed with catalogs and market analysis. From Warsaw to Manila, diplomats hit the road to sell the India growth story. The diplomatic pivot is a radical, innovative move, turning tradition into a dynamic export force. India's global presence is now a powerful tool for economic growth. Mission 40 connects India's industrial hubs to new global markets. A detailed mapping exercise matches regional strengths with target market needs. Taruper's knitwear cluster, for example, is linked to demand in Europe and Latin America. Workshops educate manufacturers on consumer preferences, regulations, and buyers in new markets. The goal: empowers small and medium enterprises to explore beyond the US and EU. Kanpur's leather goods target Russia, Hyderabad's pharma eyes Africa, Pune's auto parts look to Southeast Asia. Micro-level planning ensures national strategy translates to real business opportunities. Digital platforms and virtual showrooms connect Indian sellers with global buyers. Online matchmaking events let manufacturers reach new customers without costly travel. The result, a robust, tech-enabled ecosystem linking India's heartlands to the world. Mission 40's path is tough. India faces fierce competition from Vietnam and Bangladesh. These rivals excel in cost competitiveness, especially in apparel and footwear. Bangladesh dominates with scale and EU trade access. Vietnam climbs the value chain with free trade deals. India can't win on cost alone, so it pivots to quality, reliability, and product diversity. Manufacturers move up the value chain: technical textiles, sustainable fabrics, and higher-value goods. Made in India is promoted as a mark of quality and ethical standards. India's strength is its industrial diversity, from software to pharmaceuticals to engineering. Mission 40 leverages this, offering a broad basket of goods to new markets. The strategy, don't just compete, stand out as a comprehensive, resilient sourcing destination. India plays a different, more diversified game to outmaneuver rivals. A dedicated war room in the Commerce Ministry becomes Mission 40's nerve center. Data scientists, trade experts, and industry reps track exports, shipping, and trends in real time. Weekly video calls with ambassadors and monthly meetings with export associations keep strategy agile. The war room drives not just crisis response but long-term export growth. New sectors, renewables, medical devices, specialty chemicals, get special focus and incentives. The aim, a balanced tech-advanced export portfolio for the future. Logistics, port efficiency, and customs reforms accelerate to boost global competitiveness. The crisis sparks a top-to-bottom overhaul of India's export ecosystem. The result, a faster, stronger, and more resilient economic engine. Mission 40 is about future-proofing India's place in the world economy. The 50% US tariff is a shock, but India's export story is bigger. The US was India's top market, but only 17 to 18% of total exports, over 80% already go elsewhere. India's goods reach 190-plus countries. The EU, Middle East, Asia, and Africa are major partners. Mission 40 isn't about starting from scratch, but deepening and diversifying global ties. The crisis exposes the risk of over-concentration on one market. The new mindset: stable, diversified revenue is better than high-margin volatility. The lesson: strategic diversification is essential for long-term growth. The US remains important, but India's future lies in a balanced global portfolio. The tariff is a catalyst, forcing India to unlock its full export potential. Mission 40 is the plan to claim India's rightful share of the world market. India's export story is global, and just getting started.